Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you another one of my FIFA 14 team tutorials. Now today's team, as you can see on the screen, is going to be Borussia Dortmund. Now I play them in their default 4-2-3-1 formation, and the starting lineup is Weidenfeller, Piszczek, Hummels, Socrates, Schmelzer, Bender, Gundogan, Blaszczykowski, Royce, Mkhitaryan, and up front Robert Lewandowski, and that's the team I go for. And Dortmund are a massive favourite of mine. I absolutely love playing with Borussia Dortmund. Before I get into the tutorial, one thing I wanted to quickly mention, that's about the game that is up in the background. This is a seasons game, obviously, because how else are you going to play with Borussia Dortmund? It's a game I pretty much control. I think I finished the game with 57% possession. My opponent only has one shot on target. Yet it's a pretty tight game in the results-wise, because it's a 2-1 victory, I think, for me in the end. I really should have won by more. Like I mentioned, my opponent had one shot on target. Great moves. I mean, I had some absolutely fantastic moves in this game. One of them in the first half, which Sven Bender ballses up the finish at the end, would have been one of the finest goals I've scored on FIFA 14, just for the simple passing and movement. So many passes led to that build-up and the chance that I ballsed up. But you know, it just is a good example of how to play with Dortmund, because I'm very tight defensively, keep the ball well, I score goals in the counter-attack as well. You know, very, very balanced performance, and this shows Dortmund very well, because Dortmund are a very balanced team. And you just look through their squad, many tremendous players. And let's start with the first one in goal, Robert Weidenfeller. You know, Weidenfeller's been boosted under this patch, and if you're interested, this is being recorded on the 10th of December, so this is the current squad update that I'm going to be running through here. Now, Weidenfeller in goal is currently rated at 85, although he's normally 83, with 84 diving, 85 handling, 87 positioning, and 86 reflexes. Tremendous shot stopping, very solid goalkeeper. He doesn't have the long throw traits, so that's something you've got to bear in mind, but he's just a good all-round player. Right back, Piszczek, great right back, very good right back. He's had a bit of a ratings hit in this update, unfortunately. He's only rated an 81, down from an 83. But he is a very solid player. Got 83 acceleration, 86 sprint speed, very useful. He has 80 strength as well, which is very high for a fullback. You don't often see fullbacks with that high strength. Great, because he doesn't get bullied off the ball. He can normally put his shoulder into the vast majority of wingers in the game and come out on top. So that's a very important stat. He's also good going forward as well. 85 crossing, very useful stat for your fullback to have. He'll get up and down the flank for you nicely. Nice and solid left back. On the other flank, we've got Schmelzer. Schmelzer not quite as good as Piszczek. You know, he's the weakest player in his starting lineup, but is still very solid player. You know, 81 sprint speed, 85 stamina, 77 crossing. They're pretty decent stats for an attacking fullback. And on the other side of the coin, he's got 80 slide tackling and 82 stand tackling. Very solid. You know, not going to let you down too often. He has medium work rates as well, so he does get up and down the flank nicely. One thing you do have to remember with him, he has 2-star weak foot and 2-star skill move, so he will give the ball away if you try and do something too ambitious on that right foot. But apart from that, you know, he's a very solid player. Let's move into the centre-back position now. First player I've gone for is Socrates. Now, this was a tough call because it was Socrates and Subotic, the other centre-back who I was looking at, are very similar, you know, very good players. But the reason why I've gone for Socrates is his impressive physical stats. He has 86 strength, 82 jumping, 80 sprint speed as well. 80 sprint speed for a centre-back is phenomenal. You cannot find many centre-backs quicker than that in the game, who are also an 83 rating. I mean, he's an 80 normally. Under this patch, he's been boosted to an 83, but I would still strongly recommend playing him even if he's an 80, because that is just a great stat to have. And you know, when I mention Mats Hummels a little bit, you'll understand just how important that stat is, but I'll just continue on Socrates for the time being. Great defending stats as well. 84 heading accuracy, always important for a centre-back. 84 marking, very solid. And 86 stand tackling. He's just a very composed, powerful, fast tackling centre-back, which is a great combination to have. And like I mentioned, he also complements Mats Hummels very nicely. Now, Mats Hummels is one of the best defenders in the game. There's no doubt about that. 90 strength straight away. Unbelievable stat. You're not going to see too many people with much better strength than that. But if you look at the rest of his stats as well, 88 interceptions, 90 heading accuracy, 86 slide tackling, 88 stand tackling. You know, incredible defensive stats. But the great thing about Hummels as well is he is the stereotypical ball-playing defender. He is absolutely fantastic on the ball. He has long pass as a trait, which is very rare for a centre-back to have. He has 81 long passing, 80 short passing. very useful. The amount of moves you see started by Mats Hummels when you're playing as Dortmund is quite high. He's a very, very solid player to have. One thing you do need to be wary about, he does have high attacking work rate, and this is why Socrates is so useful in this team. You see a lot of times that Hummels will get his foot on the ball, and because of his attacking tendencies will begin to stroll up the field. So having a centre-back partner alongside him who's quick and can cover him behind is brilliant, because that enables Hummels to do what he's good at. You know, he is a complete defender. You want to use him in every facet of your defending, including launching attacks. So if you have someone solid as well as someone pacey alongside him to cover him when he does that, that's great news. So I think these two are the definite way to go. Subotic is a fine defender, no doubt about that. He's a very, very good team. If you're very, very good in a team, If you're building a German ultimate team or a Bundesliga ultimate team, get him in. Great player, but have to go with Socrates in the end. So let's move into midfield now. Midfield's another area with a lot of competition. You know, I decided not to play Nuri Sahin in this game. Debatable whether you want to get him in there, but I think the central midfield pairing of Bender and Gundogan, I think you pronounce that. Sorry, I cannot pronounce his name to save my life, but those two guys fit very, very nicely together. Let's start with Sven Bender. Sven Bender is a great box-to-box midfielder. He has 92 stamina and high work rate. So straight off the bat, you know that in the first minute and the 90th minute, he's going to be harrying attackers and as well as bombing forward to try and support the attacks. I think he actually scores my second goal in this game, as well as having a very, very good chance earlier in the game, which he really should have scored for the best goal. In fact, he scored my first goal. That's it. But Sven is a great player. Also, he has 88 interceptions, 87 slide tackling and 86 stand tackling. Very, very useful defensive stats. He will win the ball for you many, many times. Then he has 82 short passing just to lay it off to start the attack. Another useful trait as well, 4-star weak foot. Very, very important for players. So if you win the ball back with him, he will find a good pass for you to launch an attack. Great player to have alongside Gundogan. I think that's how you pronounce him, who is a more attacking player. You know, if you look at his stats, 4-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves, always good to start off with that. 84 acceleration, so he loves to burst past players. 86 agility, 83 stamina, 81 sprint speed. Great physical stats, really nice physical stats. And that was the goal Bender should have scored. Oh, that was a beautiful move. I think there was about 20 yard, 30, somewhere around there, passes in that build-up, and then Bender misses the finish. It would have been a beautiful goal, but never mind. Just goes to show you just how often Sven Bender gets forward to support your attack. You know, surprisingly often. But let's go back to Gundogan. You know, tremendous physical stats, absolutely tremendous. Love playing with him. But when he gets himself on the ball, that's when he really starts to shine, because he has 86 vision, 87 dribbling, 86 ball control, 88 short passing. You know, incredible creative stats. He will get the ball, he will run at players, he will do skill moves if that's what the sort of thing you like. Great little dribble if you just want to ghost past players. Lovely little through balls. When you look at the attacking talent ahead of him, and we're going to mention that, having someone in midfield like him who can get his foot on the ball, launch a quick counter attack and then hit a good pass is invaluable. He is a super player, and I think he goes very, very well alongside Sven Bender, because you look at Gundogan's tackling stats, 74. You know, solid but not spectacular. If you play the relatively lightweight Nuri Sahin alongside him, you are going ultra attacking basically. You're very, very attacking. So having someone with the solidity and reliability of Bender, especially when you remember that we have a centre back who likes to get forward as well in Hummels, it just lends itself to a much more balanced side. And you know, Dortmund are all about balance. They really are a very, very nicely balanced team. You do not want to be skewing that. You want to be using every facet of your attack, and that central midfield partnership, lends itself very, very effectively to doing that. So that's them out the way. Let's step up the field, and let's start with the right winger. This is Jakub Blaszczykowski. And everyone out there would have heard of Blaszczykowski. You know, he's been a good player for a number of years. Unfortunately, under the recent squad update, he's been knocked down by 2. He's normally an 83 rating, but he's currently an 81. But he still has very, very useful stats. He has 92 acceleration and 92 sprint speed, which for a winger is always a godsend. And a great out ball when you're playing as Dortmund, when you're under pressure, is just that little chip ball into the channel on the right-hand side. He will always be there to run for you all day. Very, very useful. He has 80 stamina, so he's not going to tire out quickly. He has 81 crossing, so bearing in mind you've got Piszczek on that flank as well. Both of your right-sided players are exceptional crossers. Very, very useful at that. 83 dribbling, and he also has 82 short passing. So he's not just a one-trick pony, he's not just a pace tramp. He's a very, very well-rounded winger and someone that is fun to use. Really, really fun to use. 4-star weak foot, nice and useful as well, so you can check inside with him if you want and pass a nice through ball through. Only 3-star skill moves, but manageable level of skill moves. He has decent shot power, I think that's in the mid-80s, but he's not going to score you too many goals. He's mainly there as a creator. The guy on the other flank, on the other hand, Marco Reus, scores you so many goals. He scores so many goals for me when I play as Dortmund, and that's because obviously he's a right footer playing on the left hand side of the field. He can cut inside. He does have 4-star weak foot as well. That's something to bear in mind. So if you do get shown onto your left foot, it's not the end of the world. You can do something useful from there. But if you look at his stats, 89 acceleration and 92 sprint speed. So he has the pace to get away and get into some space. He has 87 attack positioning. So he's always in the right place to begin with. 88 dribbling, 89 long shots, 86 finishing, and 85 shot power. Those are the stats of a truly accomplished finisher, and that's what he is. Reus gets you so many goals. He's a good set piece taker as well. I think he has mid-80s free kick accuracy. So when you combine all of that together, he is a regular source of goals for you in this Dortmund team. And do not be afraid if things are going against you to give the ball to Reus, check inside and have a shot from 30 yards. Because every now and again one flies in, but even if it doesn't, even if you force a save and win a corner, it's a great pressure release. And these two wingers are fantastic relievers of pressure for two different reasons. Obviously you've got Blaszczykowski, more of a traditional winger who will run down the flank and get balls in, and then you've got Reus on the other side who will cut inside and unleash shots from anywhere. So it always keeps you in the game having players like this who can contribute when you're dominating, because Reus has good mid-80s passing as well. But when you're a little bit under the cosh, having these players to suddenly step out and grab the game and seize the ball and some momentum for you is very, very useful. Very useful indeed. So really do like the combination of wingers in this team, and they're complemented pretty nicely by Mkhitaryan in the middle of the field. Now obviously replacing Mario Götze was going to be impossible for Dortmund, it really was, but they've signed a very, very competent central attacking midfield player here. Look at his basic stats: 84 or 82 movement, so 84 acceleration, 82 sprint speed. Pretty good stats that for a central attacking midfielder. Pace isn't 100% necessary because they're going to be in an advanced position anyway, and they're always going to be looking to set others up, so technical ability always comes first. But it is nice to have a central attacking midfielder who is that mobile, and he is pretty mobile. You see several times in this game he'll run the ball into the channel for you, provide you another pass to keep your move going. He's one of those players who never jumps out at you, but when he's not in the team, you realise what an important role he has to play. He links the attack very, very nicely. He has good passing attributes. 85 dribbling, very, very useful. 86 agility. 85 short passing, very, very nice stats. He even has 85 volleys as well. So occasionally he pops up with a spectacular goal from the edge of the area, something along those lines. Very, very solid and composed player. A player that I think fits nicely in this Dortmund side, because like I mentioned, mobile, so he fits in with the counter-attacks, but he's also a good passer. So if you, like me, like to get the ball down and knock it around, Mkhitaryan is a player who can fit in very nicely. He also has 5-star weak foot. That is an attribute you do not see a lot of players have. Exceptionally useful, especially in an attacking position, because when the ball drops to him from any part of the pitch, he can do something useful with it. 4-star skill moves as well for all of those sorts of guys out there who like to do the tricks and flicks. Very, very solid player. But in my opinion, the undoubted star of this team is the striker, Robert Lewandowski. He's this is tough. Well, I'd say he's in the top 3 strikers in Europe. I'm reluctant to say he's the best striker in Europe because, personally, at the moment, I think that's Luis Suarez. I mean, Suarez has been phenomenal since he's come back from suspension this season. But Lewandowski is a true world-class striker, and that's reflected in his FIFA stats. He is incredibly well-rounded. He got a ratings buff in the summer, because he had the same rating as Darren Bent last year, which for me was just a travesty. Anyone who watches football could see that rating was just ridiculous. It's one of the examples of EA's quite simply bogus ratings in some instances. Again, this year, another example, Nicolas Anelka has a higher rating than Christian Benteke and Michu. The seasons those two guys had last year when Anelka was basically warming the bench in China, You can clearly see that EA's ratings are not exactly the most accurate things in the world, but with Robert Lewandowski, I think they're finally getting towards an accurate estimation of his abilities. He has one of the most rounded set of stats for a striker in the game, outside of the OP machines, players like Ibra. Unfortunately, he does stop goals on the line sometimes by getting in the way of a nice little Marco Reus finesse shot, denying me goals, but apart from that, he's a very, very solid player. Firstly, as always, we'll start with the physical stats. Now, 83 acceleration, 82 sprint speed, not blistering, but nice and mobile. You're never going to think, oh, I wish he was a much faster player. Very, very decent on the ball. 80 strength as well, important. Doesn't get bullied by very many centre-backs. Will tough it out there for you if you need him to in games. 85 jumping, very, very nice stat for a centre-forward, especially one who plays as a lone striker. That means you can always dink the ball up to him, and in a team with wingers and people who like to cross, having someone up there who can head the ball, which he certainly can, very useful. You saw the goal he scored in this game was a header. Do not be afraid to cross. People sometimes have this mental block when they play with a striker like Lewandowski with such good finishing stats that you can't cross to him for some reason. Definitely cross to him. You know, it's all situational. Obviously, if you're going to put him through in goal, if he's one-on-one, do that. But if you're with a winger, do not be afraid to cross. Exceptional, you know, very, very good. 88 reactions as well, so when the ball drops to him in the box, he can quickly finish. 88 finishing, 89 heading accuracy, 84 dribbling, 87 ball control. What a phenomenal range of stats those are. Very, very useful in every situation, and this is absolutely essential when you're playing with a lone striker. Even, you know, a striker in such a good team as Dortmund, and Dortmund have a very, very good team. You want your lone striker to be as effective as he possibly can be in as many situations as he can be. And if you have someone like that, you're going to have a lot more success than if you have a one-trick pony up front. You see so many players play a team in 4-2-3-1 and have just a quick guy up front, and every minute of the game hoof the ball upfield and hope he gets onto the end of it. And then occasionally he does, but then he doesn't have the rest of the stats to bring the rest of his team into play. So that's a very, very one-dimensional play style. When you're playing with Dortmund, you have so many options at your disposal because of Lewandowski. You know, you can pass because of all the glittering passing talent, and he has like exceptional ball control. I think it was 87 off the 87, got it written down here. But he also has good short passing. You know, he has 83 short passing. He can complement attacking moves. He is the focal point for this entire team and is a wonderful player. And as the rumours say that he's going to be leaving at the end of the year, he's going to be very, very difficult to replace. But fortunately, this season he's at Dortmund, and I cannot recommend you any more strongly to play this team. They are tremendous, absolutely tremendous. Doesn't matter what style you like to play, whether you like to play turtley and counter-attack, or control, or play direct and cross, or a whole mixture. They will do that for you. They really are a 10 out of 10 team, in my opinion. Fantastic to play with. So guys, really hope you've enjoyed the video. Please, for the life of you, check out Dortmund on FIFA. They are tremendous. But once again, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a great